clouds, the neon. There's a lot to unpack in this Insta post, but it's Molly-Mae Hague and Tommy Fury's bold choice of name for their newborn that set off the social media scolds.
It's a human being that has to grow up into a fully functioning adult, not a miniature poodle.
Does Molly-Mae not know what happened to Bambi's mum? Bambi is going to have to go to Starbucks or into an interview or apply for a mortgage one day with that name.
When you're the daughter of two Love Island contestants, maybe a normal-ish life was a long shot anyway. Plus, weird celebrity names have been around since Adam, Eve and Apple and Northwest and Moon Unit and X, Ash, whatever.
X, Ash. A12 is my contribution.
But recently, regular folk have been getting gratuitous as well.
Even the most popular names that are out there for boys and girls, things like Lewis and Charlotte, are not as common as Dan would have been in the 1980s. What's driving this greater diversity is, in large part, that there's more diversity around us. The ancestry of Australians is broader than it's ever been before.
It's not a free-for-all, though. States routinely knock back names like the Greatest and Seven.
Seven.
And Victoria has a whole list of no-go names, mostly divine designations like God and Satan.
Wait, is that a real name?
You got knocked back.
And official titles like Prime Minister and Admiral.
Admiral? I don't like that. It's disgusting.
But where there's a will, there's a way.
My son's name is Holden Commodore, and originally we wanted to call him Commodore.
That might explain why some countries like Iceland go further than us, making parents pick from a list of 1,853 approved female names and 1,712 male ones.
All I'll say is that if we do come up with a list of names, that maybe leave Dan off it. There's enough of us going around.
So is Iceland spoiling the fun or saving little Seven from a rough childhood?
Well, you don't like the name?
It's not a name, it's a number.
I have to say, that was one of the most productive baths I've ever had.
But back to names, do we like Bambi? I think it's sweet.
Well, my problem is I worry about, so your little boy and my little boy were both having this conversation. They're both named after their grandfathers, right? So my little boy is Austin, which is a cool name, and then we had to pull him up a bit. So he's got my dad's name as his middle name, so he's Austin Ralph. Sadly, his last name is Stock, so his initials are ARS. Anyway, sorry, mate. So we get back to you. I wonder, like, if in 3 generations' time there's going to be a heap of Bambis because they're named after their grandmother. Yeah. But your little Paul, that's a cute name.
I know. My little boy was named after his granddad, but it took a bit of convincing because you don't hear the name Paul much for little kids. And I was like, how am I going to breastfeed a Paul? Like, a Paul sounds like an accountant. He's, like, really helpful with your BAS statement, you know. But kids become their names, and that's why I get a bit loath to criticise kids' names.
Oh, it's tough. I don't know if you guys... I recently had to go through this whole process. I told you. Me and my partner Jules had a baby recently.
No.
I brought the baby in right here. This is... We had to work out...
That's exactly like it.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see. We named it Graham.
OK.
Yeah, after...
With it... Graham or Grey-Amy? Because there's 2 ways to spell
There's 2
Graham.
ways of spelling it.
Really, we haven't had that conversation. You think we should have had it, but...
When you go to get your tattoo, you need to know the
I'll
spelling.
need to know that for sure.